Hello friends, today in our English language practice session, let us take a chapter from the class 12 CBSE English subject. The name of the chapter is Last Lesson. Now you will find this chapter in the CBSE website. You can download it and you can read it as many times as you want. And as you keep reading, you will surely improve your reading skills as well as pronunciation skills. Uh, what we are trying to do is we'll give you a small explanation about this chapter, and as you read this chapter again and again, it would be easy for you to understand if you listen to our explanation. But first, a small disclaimer. The content in this video is to improve your English language skills only. It is not made for the purpose of passing any exam, either school exam or any competitive exam. So, this chapter, named The Last Lesson, was written by Alphonse Daudet, and it is set during the Franco-Prussian War. Uh, and Prussia defeated France in this war, and French districts of Alsace and Lorraine, they passed into the hands of Prussia. So this story describes what effect the passing of these districts in the hands of Prussia had on the life at school. So this is a map of France, and somewhere here where we have shown the arrow, uh, there was Alsace and Lorraine. So this chapter, if you see, the author writes as if these events happened in his life. So you will find the words I, me, myself used in the chapter, and it is a first person narrative. So in the beginning, the author says that the author starts late to the school. Now, why does the author start late to the school? Because he is afraid that he would be scolded by his teacher, Mr. M. Hamill. And why would he be scolded by his teacher? Because the author did not prepare about participles, and he did not know anything about participles. He also found the morning to be very inviting, with birds chirping, very bright and warm. So he thought he could also just spend his time like that without going to the school. But then he overcomes this temptation and then goes to school. On the way while going to school, there is a town hall. So a town hall is a place where public announcements are made. Like the governments make announcement about the war, about losing a war or about winning a war, all that. And meetings also might take place. The author crosses the town hall, but while crossing the town hall, he sees a large crowd. Now he's curious to know what is happening there, but he has to hurry to school, and therefore he just ignores the crowd and moves on. The author reaches the school and reaches the class of Mr. M. Hamill. Generally, at the beginning of any class, there's a lot of noise, and children move over here and there. So that you will see the word bustle used in the lesson to describe all those. And you will also find the teacher hitting the table hard in order to control this movement of children and this noise. And the word used to describe this is rapping. Um, this is what generally happens in the beginning. But today, things are very silent. The author actually had plans to go sneak in to the classroom and sit on his table when all this is happening, when all this confusion is happening, when this noise is happening. Uh, but today, things are very different. Um, he finds the classroom to be silent, and so he has to open the door and go and sit on his chair. He's actually very frightened. He doesn't understand why things are so silent and it looks like a Sunday morning. So, there's another word in the lesson, commotion, which describes the noise, the confusion, and the children that when they move here and there around in a class, it describes all that. Now, when the author is sitting on his chair, he also sees his teacher, and he finds that his teacher, Mr. Hamill, is well dressed. He's wearing a bright, beautiful green coat, shirt with frills, an embroidered silk cap. Um, he knows that generally his teacher, Mr. M. Hamill, is dressed so well only for inspection or on prize days. So he finds it a bit strange as to why is his teacher so well dressed today. And the author looks at the last benches and he finds some villagers occupying the last benches. An old hawser wearing three-cornered hat, a former mayor, a former postmaster, and few villagers are occupying the last benches. They all look sad. Then he looks at his teacher, Mr. Hamill, who's sitting on his chair, and then Mr. Hamill announces with a sad tone that this would be his last French lesson, and from the next day, German would be taught to the students. The author, on listening this, he feels something sharp and sudden, like a clap of thunder. And the author realizes that he has not even learned to write French properly. He feels sorry that he had taken all these teachings for granted and he was always running behind the bird's eggs or was sliding somewhere. He felt that his books were a nuisance, were very heavy, but today the same old grammar books and the same history of saints, he felt they were his old friends. He also realized that he has more respect for Mr. Hamill. The author's name is called in the class, but this time Mr. Hamill doesn't call to reprimand or to scold him. Instead, he wants to speak about the mistakes done by everybody in ignoring French lessons. The children, they think they have a lot of time and so they don't take French lessons seriously. The parents, they prefer their kids to work in farms or mills for a small amount of money, and therefore they don't emphasize that their children learn French. Mr. Hamill also blamed himself, saying that he used to send the author to water flowers, or whenever he wanted to go fishing, he gave a holiday. While discussing all this, Mr. Hamill also emphasized how beautiful the French language was. But now, unfortunately, they would not be able to teach it and the students would not be able to learn it because countries that had lost wars had lost the right to teach, learn, or even speak their own language. An example we can give you is of Scottish Gaelic. Now, Scottish Gaelic is the native language of Scotland, but today Scottish English is more common. Now, this is not there in the lesson. We are just giving you as an example. So, this story, if you see, it explains the patriotic feelings that French people had and also the close attachment and the respect they had to their language. As a teacher, Mr. Hamill also does a wonderful job on the last day by saying that if French could hold on to their language, then they had hopes of coming out of the clutches of the Prussians. Now, why this is so? Because a language can hold people together. And when a language holds people together, people work for a common goal. It could be fighting slavery, or it could be fighting any kind of injustice. Also, to give you a perspective about Prussia, today parts of Germany, Russia, Poland, Denmark, Belgium, Czech Republic, all this uh, would be Prussia. So the kingdom of Prussia was quite big and they all spoke German. That is why they were enforcing German language on the French people. So please like, subscribe and share so that this reaches as many people as possible. Let us learn more languages. Let us not think a language to be an Indian language or a foreign language. Let us learn as many languages as possible. It will help us grow. And you can also give your comments in the comment section. Thank you.